Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings, and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stand. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
Yeah, they just wanna see me in the grave. Come out the law in the rave. Oh no, I can't wait. You can read what you sow in the day. I was down, now I'm up to the plate. Got a couple hits, cause you know I can't play. We gon' win it no matter what the shape. Got the stick, we gon' bring it out the safe. I was down below the commas. I put dollars on my head like I don't wanna. Yeah, I'm proud of what I did, I'm gonna come up. Yeah, you left me on red, so don't try to run it. Want no smoke, then come in peace. Flow so foreign overseas. Got them praying, they like please. They want cheddar, not no cheese. On the fine, they don't get it, it's amazing. I was down bad in the basement. I would pray to God for a placement. I was never patient, I was always racing. Got me on the drive, that's a flagrant. Little boy, tell me what you chasing. We gotta do better, gotta be clever, gotta love more, that's a statement. Yeah, they just wanna see me in the grave. Come out the law in the rave. Oh no, I can't wait. You can read what you sow in the day. I was down, now I'm up to the plate. Got a couple hits, cause you know I can't play. We gon' win it no matter what the shape. Got the stick, we gon' bring it out the safe.
It's silver step, yeah, I was just inside the grave. When I resurrected in like 3 whole days. Shut up on my car, I had a sneaker. I might take a tenant because we the way. Walk around the house, got drip on anyway. They gon' eat it up like it's a dinner day. Seen a Lambo, claimed it on the interstate. Fame is nothing when it's Jesus in the stage. On the front and silver, it's the game. I feel my calendar, I'm losing track of all the days. Call me water boy, and I was giving them a name. I was sitting on the bench, they had to put me in the game. I be from the dot, they said ice in my veins. Gotta shit the guts, but I'll never be ashamed. Pushing on the break the when I know it's gonna be great. It's time to celebrate you when your family gon' hate.
They just wanna see me in the grave. Come out the law in the rave. Oh no, I can't wait. You can read what you sow in the day. I was down, now I'm up to the plate. Got a couple hits, cause you know I can't play. We gon' win it no matter what the shape. Got the stick, we gon' bring it out. And I'm back like I never left. They just treating every song like another check. I'm pulling up to every court and I'm calling next. They try to end me, now I'm stopping my foot on their neck. You'll be surprised what they do for attention. God looks into your heart and intentions. I see you judging in all of my mentions. I'm out the grave, I thank God for redemption. Now I'm taking it a step at a time. My future is bright like I turned on the lights. It's crazy how I see them right through the blind. I used to explain how I'm catching these flights. Don't hit my DMs with arrogance. I gotta do it with excellence. I'm reaching the needy, it's evident. And they still in the room with the elephant. Yeah, they just wanna see me in the grave. Come out the law in the rave. Oh no, I can't wait. You can read what you sow in the day. I was down, now I'm up to the plate. Got a couple hits, cause you know I can't play. We gon' win it no matter what the shape. Got the stick, we gon' bring it out the safe.
Welcome to Royal Rebounds TV with Calvin and Barry. Just two crazy fans of the Sacramento Kings and they sharing their opinion. So be sure that you subscribe. It's for the fans, by the fans. Whether you chilling on the couch or wildin' in the stands. For laid back conversations about the Kings, subscribe here. Staying down until we come up thinking this gon' be our year. We're here, drinking beer, talking about the Kings. Be sure you subscribe so you can hear that bell ring, yeah.
What's up, Royal family? Welcome back to Royal Rebounds TV and another Royal Rebounds podcast live with Calvin and Barry. I hope you guys had a wonderful time watching the game tonight. Sacramento Kings win 140-110 in a dominating win over the Charlotte Hornets. Kings set a franchise record 22 threes in this game, and they also matched the NBA's single game high 140 points this year. Incredible win. Calvin, what are your first thoughts?
Well, yeah, you definitely had to have fun watching this game. If you're a Kings fan and you didn't have fun watching this game, there's probably something wrong with you. I don't know. But they had it all working tonight. We mentioned it on the last podcast. This is a really good matchup for the Kings. They match up really well with Charlotte. And you could just see it right from the beginning. They took advantage of everything. Charlotte wanted to play fast. They thought that would be an advantage for them, but it worked out perfectly for the Kings, other than the turnovers, which we'll get into later. But even despite those turnovers, they still won this game by 30. The Kings actually had more points off turnovers than the Hornets did, despite having 8 more turnovers themselves. But my biggest takeaway watching this game was watching Charlotte play defense. I couldn't help but think, this is what the Kings looked like last year. This is why the Charlotte Hornets are dead last in points per game given up, because every three was wide open. Nothing was contested. They let guys drive by them all night long, which shrunk the defense, which left everybody open from three. The Kings got their best three-point looks all season long today. That's why they were able to hit 22 of them. That's why Mo Harkless got back on track. Terrence Davis was able to get back on track a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings are just flat out better in every way than this team. And that's another thing. You got to, watching this game, you have to think as a Kings fan, Kings are getting better. It's obvious. This is a demonstration of why this game.
Yep, that's true. Rain was not on the forecast tonight in Sacramento, but it rained really, really hard, especially from distance. The Sacramento Kings were just making shots. That was the big difference I saw in this game.
They were wide open, too.
Yeah.
Wide open shots.
And as you mentioned, Charlotte allows 117.4 points per game, which is last in the league. And the Kings took advantage. If it's your first time to the channel, welcome to Royal Rebounds TV, your favorite Sacramento Kings channel. Make sure you guys smash that like button down below if you're a Kings fan. And if you'd like to join the Royal family with Calvin and I, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. We got a poll going in the chat right now for player of the game. So go ahead and fill it out. Let us know how you feel. And we'll keep moving on here. Cal, you want to start out with the box scores?
Yeah, they were filled to the brim for Sacramento. 3 players over 20 points tonight. Buddy Hield leads the Kings with 26 on 8 of 17 from 3, 9 of 18 overall from the field. De'Aaron Fox, 21 points, 9 assists, 3 rebounds, 2 turnovers, and 1 steal. Richaun Holmes, 23 points, 20 rebounds. A 20-20 game. Guy was unstoppable.
Career high, 20 rebounds.
Yeah. And then Mo Harkless added 10 for the Kings. Harrison Barnes, 14 points. And Davion Mitchell, another really strong game with 19 off the bench.
And Mo Harkless actually scored double figures today. 10 points for Mo.
I think all 10 of his points came in the first half.
2 early threes, and he had a layup early in the game, so 8 points right off the start. Love what I saw from Mo Harkless tonight. Only 21 minutes, but they were big minutes for him.
Yeah, and we got to see a lot of other guys get in this game too. The Kings had more guys play tonight than they've had in any game this season.
That's what happens.
As you would expect.
That's what happens in a blowout.
Win by 30, yeah.
We got Metu 3 minutes tonight. Jones 2 minutes. 17 minutes for Terrence Davis. He hit a couple threes as well.
Yep.
Still no Marvin Bagley. Still no Alex Len. Mm-hmm. If you guys watched the Royal Report, our Sacramento Kings talk show that was released earlier this morning, we had a special guest. Kingstradamus came on the show. He made a prediction that there was going to be 3 Kings scoring over 20 points tonight, and he was correct. Buddy Hield with 26, 21 for De'Aaron Fox, and 23 for Richaun Holmes. As far as the Charlotte Hornets, 25 big points for Gordon Hayward. He killed it in the third quarter, but it just wasn't enough. Same with LaMelo Ball, 4 threes for him, 24 points and 13 assists. But not much help on that team other than those 2 guys, right, Cal?
No, you could just see the disparity, in the depth of both of these teams when Buddy Hield and Davion Mitchell come in and they just light it up. And the Hornets really struggle to score when their main guys aren't out there. Plus, Miles Bridges had a tough game today. He's averaging 24 points a game this year. He only had 10 tonight. Shot 4 of 14. The Kings were really good defensively on him. They made it difficult for him. Played physical inside. He didn't get a lot of foul calls. And then one other thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up the box score: Kings shot 55% from the floor, 50% from 3, and 85% at the free throw line.
Gonna win a lot of games when you shoot like that.
They could not miss. Man, it was crazy.
Yeah, it was truly incredible. And 8 big threes for Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield just keeps making threes. I think you guys are right. Buddy Hield is definitely going to be in the 6-man competition this year, and he could potentially win it. I know he's got a tough guy in Tyler Hero to go against.
That's true.
Still loving it.
It's going to be a tight race, I think.
So I want to talk a little bit about De'Aaron Fox. I absolutely loved what I saw from him tonight. He was getting to the basket. He had a beautiful layup and one. He seemed like himself. He was racing past guys. He didn't make a 3 tonight, but only 2 turnovers, 21 points, 9 assists. He played within himself.
7 of 7 at the free throw line.
Yeah, great game for De'Aaron Fox. The only thing that worried me was he picked up his 3rd foul in the second quarter.
Yeah.
The announcers were talking about maybe Luke Walton should challenge that play because it didn't look like a foul. He didn't end up doing it. And then like 2 plays later, he challenges that call on Davion Mitchell, which was unsuccessful.
Yep.
So
wrongly called unsuccessful, I would say. I don't think that was a foul.
We've heard a lot of people talk about whether coaches should take that challenge early on in the games or whether they should save them for later on, maybe in the late third or fourth quarter. So we know Walton doesn't believe in that strategy since he took it in the second quarter. But I want to ask you.
I'm not so sure about that.
I'm asking you, why did he not challenge the call where his best player picks up his 3rd foul before halftime? And we know Davion Mitchell doesn't foul a lot, Davion Mitchell does not foul a lot either.
Yeah. Hard to answer the first part of that question for me just because I don't necessarily know what his assistants are telling him, what they're seeing there courtside. They may have just felt like the odds of winning the challenge were better for Davion than they were for De'Aaron. I'm not really so sure that it's more of a we don't care if De'Aaron Fox picks up his 3rd foul, but we do care if Davion Mitchell picks up his 3rd foul sort of thing. It was probably just game flow and what the assistant coaches are telling him on the sideline. But I do think it's a open debate. Like, there's no right or wrong answer to say whether or not it's smart to save the challenge for the end or good to use it early or whatever. But I do think in a game like tonight where you knew by the time that he used that challenge that the Kings were probably going to win this game. So when you're up big like that, I think it's I consider it okay to use the challenge early like that, if it's to try to save somebody from getting in foul trouble. If it's a close game, though, I favor holding the challenge more to the end.
Yeah, and you can't get complacent in these games. Even if you're up 20, we saw what happened to the Lakers against the Thunder last night. They end up losing that game by 3. So, I don't know. I'm mixed on that one. But that brings me to our next topic. I want to talk about Davion Mitchell. I loved what I saw from him tonight. 4 of 5 from three-point range. And he just looks so comfortable out there. The game has slowed down. It's crazy because this is like his 9th game at the NBA level. And I was talking to our producer, Vinny, and it's funny, right? Like, this is his rookie season. He's already 23 years old. Yeah. Tyrese Haliburton's only 21, and this is his second year in the league. So do you feel like Davion Mitchell is already there? Like,
already where?
I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
You're going to put him in the all-star conversation now?
No. I don't want to go that far. But I'm just saying, like, is this guy even going to have a rookie or a sophomore slump? And I don't want to jinx him here.
Yeah.
But he's older. He's comfortable. Everyone talked about how Buddy Hield was a little bit older, so he was entering his prime earlier than guys that had played the same amount of years as him in the NBA. So Davion's obviously ready to contribute right away.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, he belongs.
So what do you think we can?
Any question about that?
What do you think we can expect from him for the rest of the season? And I got to hear your take on his odds to win Rookie of the Year because he's playing more minutes every game. He's scoring more every game. He's looking real good out there.
He is. I think he's going to play his way into the final 3 candidates for Rookie of the Year. It's going to be tough for him to win because he is going to get better and more comfortable, like you said, every game, but he's also not going to score 19 every night.
Yep.
And there's multiple reasons for that. One, sometimes you just are struggling shooting. Tonight he was not. He was on fire tonight, so that was easy.
Everybody was.
Everybody was. And there's also going to be nights where he's going to have to put forth more of an effort defensively. He's going to be asked to guard one of the best players in the world. Donovan Mitchell, Devin Booker, so on and so forth. Tonight, he didn't really have that. I saw him on LaMelo a little bit, but it wasn't the course of the whole game. And this game was already in hand, so it's not like he played great defense like he always does, but they didn't really need the maximum effort out of him tonight. Other nights he's going to have to do that, which may take away from his offensive night that he's going to have.
What up, Cole? What up, Lane? Glad you guys are here. Hope you're having a good time watching the Kings win another one. 140, 110.
Above 500.
5-4 on the season. The Kings are going to the motherfucking playoffs. I told you guys. I like what I'm seeing in the comments. Josh, so you put $5 on Rookie of the Year for Davion? I know there was a 7% chance. What kind of odds did you get? Let me know. Jill says, Rashawn Holmes with an amazing 23 points, 20 rebound game becomes the first Kings player to record a 2020 game with 75% field goal percentage since 1994. That's an incredible stat. How did you find that out?
Yeah, good work, Jill.
Good work, Jill. That's incredible stats. I wish I was at the game tonight. I really wish I was. I saw the energy in the building. It looked so much fun.
For sure. A lot to be happy about.
Buddy Hield killed it. What happened with Mo Harkless? We saw him go to the locker room.
I don't know.
I didn't see him come back.
It was really hard for me to tell what he hurt physically and to what extent. I just really have no idea. So,
do you guys know what happened to Mo Harkless? Let us know in the chat. Only one personal foul for him tonight. So
yeah.
I was surprised to see him go to the locker room. He didn't seem to be limping or anything.
It definitely didn't look like a lower leg.
Oh, Mike Monticello's buying courtside. Thanks, Mike.
Oh, what's up, Mike?
All right. So Gordon Hayward killed it in the third quarter. That was the only quarter that the Kings got outplayed. 36 points allowed in that quarter. I thought that was the best quarter that the Hornets had tonight, because the Hornets look lost this entire game, especially on the defensive end of the floor. Like, it looked crazy. You hit it right on the head. Like, that's what the Kings looked like last year on defense.
They really did.
And I'd hate to say that.
But it's true.
One thing that I saw in this game that made me really happy was the Kings' largest lead in this game was 30 points. And that's what they won with, 30 points, which is great, because we talked about this Kings team getting up early in games, which is new for them. Maybe their style of play doesn't fit a team playing from ahead, and they allow other teams to get back in games. We saw it a couple times early on in this season where the Kings allowed other teams to get back in the game. They didn't do that in this game. They kept their foot on the gas pedal the entire game. That's something I love to see. I heard a new nickname tonight for Rashawn Holmes, and I want to hear your opinion. Kyle Draper was calling him Mobile Holmes.
Yeah, it's cute.
You like it? Sounds kind of ghetto to me.
It's cute is what it is. We all know that Sherlock Holmes is the best.
Sherlock Holmes is definitely
for him,
best.
right? Let us know what you guys think in the chat.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't really like that nickname at all. And I still think that Tyrese needs a better nickname too.
What's his? Hallie?
Yeah, Hallie. That's all I've heard.
Yeah.
Reese's Passes.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, that's not really a nickname. But I think we got to come up with a good one for him. If you guys have any good nicknames for him, let us know in the chat or down below in the comments. So, another question I want to ask you, Cal. We saw Metu, we saw Jones, we saw Davis tonight. No Alex Len, which was strange. And no Marvin Bagley, which I think has become obvious at this point.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my question. Do you think you will see Marvin Bagley wearing a Kings jersey ever again?
My gut reaction is no. I mean, if you're not going to see him play in a 30-point blowout, when are you going to see him play? They've had guys foul out. He hasn't come in. I'm actually more confused now to why he played 10 minutes against the Jazz the first time.
Right?
That's more confusing than holding him out every game. But what was the other thing you asked me?
Weather will oversee him in a Kings jersey.
You said you were surprised you didn't see Alex Len. I wasn't, because I think the Kings knew going into this game that it was going to be a track meet. The Hornets are 4th in the league in pace. You saw it. They love to get up and down, and the Kings played right into that beautifully. It worked to their advantage, I thought. And so I just didn't think that this game was the right one for Alex Len. He's not as mobile as any of these other guys, even though he does a good job, but not nearly the same as Rashawn or Metu or even Tristan Thompson. Those guys can get up and down the floor a lot better than he can. And the Hornets aren't a huge team either. Mason Plumlee at the 5, so that was a good matchup for Rashawn Holmes all night.
Yeah, there was a couple
Obviously,
plays
2020.
where Mason got him. I saw that steal and that, but
couple
overall,
times.
Rashawn Holmes definitely dominated. I'm seeing some mixed reactions about Katie in the chat. Katie Christensen Hunter.
Yeah.
Victor says, I like Katie, but she's better at her sideline job. Fred says, Katie is great, but Kyle and Mark are insufferable.
Oh.
Victor says Draper is kind of cringe. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Kyle Draper. I appreciate everything that he's done because he's been kind of put in a tough position with like little notice. And I think he's doing well, but I just miss having Mark Jones. And I miss having, I hate to say it, I miss having our old announcers.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
they got voted
Kings,
best.
Kings
they got
were spoiled for a long time.
We're not going to name names, but they got voted best announcers in the league more than once.
They did.
More than once.
They did.
Dennis says, I'm more on the fence about Buddy. Nights like this make me want him to stay in Sacramento. What about the last game? He played wonderful defense in the last game.
He did, and he shot terribly.
Yeah, he was hustling all over the court. I'm starting to move into that camp that the Kings need to keep Buddy Hield, especially when they're having these offensive issues, and he's the only one that can make a bucket.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. It depends on what you could possibly get for him in return, but I think as long as he's still coming off the bench, I really love the 6-man role for him.
Yep, I agree. Lane says Holmes is legit. You are right.
Legit.
He is legit, and he's on a great contract.
Yes, he is.
He's on a great contract.
Yes, he is.
All right. Katie's trying to pick up where Doug left off with the nicknames, but it's not the best.
Yeah, it's hard. Doug Christie was really good at that job all around. So it's tough for somebody to step in and fill those shoes, She's trying.
Yep.
She does a good job, I think. But
Terrence Davis is getting some hate in the chat. TD is a no-go for me. Someone said he's the weakest link on this team.
Ooh.
How do you feel about Terrence Davis?
Well, I just want to actually shout out Luke Walton for a second and it relates to Terrence Davis.
Okay.
Because this was the perfect game for Terrence Davis to get some confidence in. This is a game where they knew they were going to get a ton of threes, good looks, up and down pace. And Terrence Davis came into this game before it was in hand, before it was a blowout. I think Luke Walton knew that, and he knew he was going to have an opportunity to get Terrence Davis a little bit of his mojo back, So I thought that was great. We talk a lot on this show about rotations and whether or not it's the right call to play this guy on one night, another guy on another night, how short the rotation has been, who should be the first guy off the bench. I really think Luke Walton's doing a good job with this overall.
Yep.
I think he's being smart about it. He knows his players. He knows when there's an opportunity to get somebody some confidence and good looks out there.
Other than Marvin Bagley.
Like that. Other than Marvin Bagley. But, if you don't want to play him, then don't play him. And that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep. Yeah, Jerry Reynolds was the nickname master. Jerry came up with the best nicknames. That is very true, Ivan. Grant, he got a raw deal, you're right, but he seems to be doing okay. He's got his own YouTube channel with Miami in the background. he seems to be having a good time. He can say
think
whatever
if you
he
asked
wants
him,
now.
He would want his job back, though.
Yeah, I think so too. But he can say whatever he wants now. He probably doesn't
Yes,
have
he
to
can.
work as hard. He doesn't
Grant's
have to
rants
travel.
are great.
Cole says, would you trade Buddy Hield for Ben Simmons?
Oh, thanks, Cole. That's a tough one. I'm going to let you go first.
If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said yes. Like, I wouldn't even have to think about it. Now I need some time to think about it. I really like what I've seen out of Buddy Hield, and I like Ben Simmons a lot as a player, but I'm happy with this team right now.
Well, I was just going to say the problem with Ben Simmons for me right now is he's not helping his cause at all. He's making himself look worse and worse. And again, I don't want that to be taken the wrong way. Mental health is a very serious thing, and you should obviously seek help if you feel like you need it. But he's not in my eyes, if I'm looking at this from a GM's perspective, he's not making himself more attractive to me.
Yep.
As a trade piece.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's a tough call, like, when a deal is like 50-50, it's like I see a lot of good things about it and a lot of bad things about it. It's things like that going on with Ben Simmons that make me outweigh it as to, no, I'm not going to do the deal.
Yeah, and one thing you have to think about is when you're in Sacramento, there's always going to be rumors swirling. Yeah. Buddy Hield's been dealing with trade rumors for years. He actually got traded, and then it got reversed, or they went back on the trade, and he's still there, and he's still showing up. They talk about Ben Simmons having a bad series, and Doc Rivers says one thing, and now all of a sudden Ben Simmons is having mental issues and won't even show up to practice. So that's the tiebreaker for me, for sure. Victor says, do you see us holding on to Marvin Bagley after the trade deadline?
Yes, if nobody wants to trade for him. I mean, that seems to be doesn't seem to be a pretty big market for him right now. Otherwise, he would already be gone, I would think.
Yeah.
So if the trade deadline comes and goes and nobody puts together a real deal for him, then yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky because I don't really see a point in keeping him on the team if he's not even playing. It's an extra guy to have on the practice court playing.
Yeah, it's an insurance policy for an injury, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, from a logistics standpoint, if you're not getting any good trades by the trade deadline, you still keep him because you still owe him the salary. He's still a restricted free agent at the end of the year. There is a long shot possibility that he wows somebody in free agency and they want to take a risk on him. And if you're the Kings, you say, hey, give me a second round pick and I'll think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
and, sorry.
You
keep going.
You could pick up something still. Not a lot. I wouldn't expect a lot, but it is still possible. So I'd say hold on to him if you don't get anything still.
Yeah, and to add to that, as much as I hate to say this, in today's day and age when COVID is still a real thing, I think it's a smart move to try to keep your bench as deep as you possibly can, just in case all of a sudden you get 2 or 3 guys that get infected or get, at the very least,
quarantined.
Quarantined.
Yeah. I wish Chris Webber got the announcing for us.
He's really good, I think, as an announcer.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Really, really good. He's a smart guy. That would have been really cool to see.
I think I'd love to see Chris doing the halftime shows for the Kings because he's kind of like us.
What do you think of Kenny Thomas?
He doesn't talk fast enough to do in-game shows.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So he's better at halftime. I like Kenny Thomas a lot.
Yeah.
He's like us. He talks a little bit slower. But I think he's got some great insights. Mm-hmm. And I love seeing ex-Kings up there. So can't go wrong with that. Just not in the front office.
Yeah.
Not in the front office. All right. Doug is right where he needs to be. I love him and will always respect him for his presence in Sacramento, but his TV presence was terrible. Fred, I don't know if a lot of people are going to agree with you on that TV presence thing.
He was a little Yeah, like goofy, I guess.
I enjoyed him a lot.
But yeah, I thought he was really good for that specific job. I don't think he should be a TV personality and like have his own show or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a really good color commentator for basketball.
You know, my favorite thing about Doug Christie is when you go to the games and it says no fighting and he's punching. Is that Rick Fox?
Rick Fox.
He's punching Rick Fox. It's great. No fighting, but we'll do it. We got chemistry. Yes, we do. Doug has some unfinished business in Sacktown. Well, he's on the side. He's on the sidelines now helping out. I thought that he was going to be huge for Marvin Bagley, but unfortunately.
That's okay if he's huge for Davion Mitchell or somebody else instead.
Cole says, I trust Hield in big-time situations more than Simmons.
Offensively.
I'd say shooting the ball, but not handling the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Ben Simmons is going to make a much better pass than Buddy Hield at the end of the game.
But in late game situations, you're going to make Ben Simmons shoot, right? You're just going to leave him open.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Why do we talk about Ben Simmons so much? You guys are crazy because I put out a Ben Simmons video and it's like 1,000 views. And then we talk about a good game by Buddy Hield or De'Aaron Fox, and it does like a quarter of that.
Yeah. It's such a unique situation.
Yeah.
Such a unique situation.
Marvin Bagley, too. We talk about Marvin Bagley, and the video just blows up. And it's like, dude hasn't even played. Like, there's not that much to say about him other than he's on the bench. Is he going to get traded? Maybe, maybe not. We heard the Bulls might be interested. Who knows? Welcome to everybody that's just joining in here. This is the Royal Rebounds Podcast live with Calvin and Barry. We are breaking down the Sacramento Kings 140-110 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Make sure you guys hit that like button. We only got 13 likes so far. If you guys are Kings fans, which I hope most of you are, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you would like to join the Royal family with Calvin and I. All right, so 22 threes tonight for the Kings. That is a franchise record. I got to say this again because I just love these numbers so much. 55% shooting from field goal today, 50% from three-point range, and 84, I'm going all the way, 84.6% from free throw, including 7 of 7 for De'Aaron Fox. All y'all Fox haters out there, we don't give a Fox because he's back, right?
I think so. Well, I mean, he's back. You have to do it for an extended period of time, probably like, I don't know, a handful of games, more than 2. But I'm encouraged with what I've seen. Yeah, and look, we all knew that. Well, not all of us, I guess, but you and I both knew that he was going to break out of that slump at some point. He's just too talented of a player.
Yep.
He was going to get a matchup like this, at some point where whatever he wanted to do,
they don't play defense. Yeah. There was a couple of drives where I saw there was not a single person in the paint.
No.
Even Tyrese had that one dunk, and there was nobody there. It was crazy. So we got 45 votes now on the poll of player of the game. But, Calvin, I want to hear your player of the game.
I'm going Richaun Holmes. Player of the game. It's hard to really pick. I mean, everybody had such a good game, and a lot of guys affected the game in multiple ways. But 20 and 20, what did Jill say? First player in Sacramento to have a 20-20 game and shoot 75% or better.
Yeah, since 94.
94.
Yep.
If that doesn't win you player of the game, I don't know what does.
That reminds me of those stats that's like, first player ever at this position to score this many points on a Sunday while leading his team. It's like, how do you guys get these stats? I love them, but it's like they're out there. Victor said, I was hoping that we could trade Buddy and keep Bogdanovich.
Yeah, that's
I was in the same. I was in the same boat. I thought Bogey was the guy. Let's check in on him. I want to see how good of a season he had. What do you think about that fit, Kyle? What do you think the Kings would have done right now? Switch out those guys.
I I mean, to be honest, I don't really think that it necessarily makes them that much better or that much worse. I know they're slightly different players, but Buddy's actually putting the ball on the floor and trying to make plays, whether it's for himself or from others, a lot more than he used to. Even though he still takes primarily only threes, he definitely, as we've seen with the turnovers, he's looking to get the ball to other people as well, more, and doing it off the dribble more, which is kind of where Bogdanović had him beat. You know, he was a better playmaker,
Much
but
better
not
playmaker.
not as good a shooter. Neither of them are really known for defense. Buddy's played some good defense recently, and I'm not really that impressed with Bogdanovic's defense overall.
Yep.
So I don't really think that it changes things that much for them.
So stats on the season here: Bogdanović has played 9 games, 11.2 points per game, 45.8% field goal percentage, and 42% from 3-point range. Pretty good. And 100% from the free throw line. Buddy Hield, 8 games, 16.8 points a game. They must not be counting this game.
That's going up, yeah.
16.8 points per game, 41.9 from field goal, and 40 from 3-point range. So I think the Kings might have another loss or two if you switch those guys out, because there was some big games where Buddy was the reason that they were in the game. And not saying that's not something that Bogdanović could do, but Buddy was on fire for a couple of those games. Atlanta's 4-5. Happy to see that. Kings are 5-4, baby.
Yeah, here we come.
5-4.
Playoffs.
All right, so let's see. What did you think about Buddy Hield's headband? Did you see that thing he was rocking today in the game? Early on, he had like this headband holding his hair back.
Oh, no.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm thinking about getting one, instead of the hat, just get a Royal Rebounds headband, wrap it around.
Like it was one of those ninja headband things?
Almost, yeah. It was black, and it looked real like close to the headband, or to the ninja headband, but it didn't have the...
He was playing with it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Early on in the game.
I really don't notice much of that stuff. Like even a guy's shoes. Did you know that Tyrese Haliburton was wearing shoes that had his Bored Ape on them?
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I saw that.
I don't pay attention to the...
I like his Bored Ape
much.
a lot. It's pretty dope with the 3D glasses. That's cool. I'm a Mutant Ape Yacht Club holder, but I'm not in the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Not yet. Not yet. If y'all want to send us a Bored Ape NFT, feel free.
We'll take it.
Feel free.
Absolutely.
So the reason I brought up the headband was Richaun Holmes got ejected in the third quarter of the last game for throwing his headband into the stands.
Yes.
Kings still win the game. He got fined $15,000 for that. So I got 2 questions for you. First off, if he's already ejected out of the game, that's punishment enough. These guys are making millions of dollars. What's $15,000 to them? That's not going to prevent him from doing it in the future. And second off, where does this money go?
Oh, wow. I have no idea what the answer is to the second part of your question. Where the money goes, who knows? To pay for something. I really don't know. But yeah, it's tough. Do I think he deserved a $15,000 fine for that? No, I don't. But it's all part of safety protocol. They just don't want things being thrown into the stands. They don't want beers being thrown from the stands. So they have to have some sort of guideline or rule to...
Kevin Durant threw the ball into the stands and didn't get ejected.
Yeah. No, I mean, you make a good point. I don't know what to say. The NBA is never going to... They're never going to feel bad about or think twice about fining somebody if they want to do it. It's just going to happen.
The Athletic says that all fine money goes to charity.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what
Didn't
charity.
expect
Maybe
that.
we could start our own, huh?
Yeah. Maybe it's a charitable trust that they can bear the beneficiary of.
That's funny. Cole said he didn't like Buddy's contract, thought he was overpaid. I agree with you. However, the great thing about that contract and the Harrison Barnes contract is they're both
Front-loaded.
front-loaded. So these guys were paid more money up front, and it declines every single year, which is good for the Kings. There's also some incentives in that deal. So if Buddy wins 6th Man of the Year, he gets a bonus, which doesn't count towards the salary cap. So it's great, and it gives him some incentive to want to come off the bench this season.
Yeah.
Right. Baby, oh yeah. Afghan baby, oh yeah. Great performance overall, but Holmes takes the cake for me. Yeah, I agree with you. Calvin agrees with you. We got 63% of the chat is giving the game ball to Rashawn Holmes.
Smart people out there.
He says, let's see, he's talking about Bogdanovic and Buddy again. They're both similar when it comes to how many positives and negatives they have. I always thought they were close. Yeah, they were pretty close. Victor said, who's the biggest X factor for the Kings this season to make the playoffs?
I'm going to say Davion Mitchell.
Interesting.
I think it maybe depends on how you kind of perceive that question by X factor. I assume it's not like an MVP type player, but the guy you maybe wouldn't expect, or the one impact that's going to push them over the top. And to me, that's Davion Mitchell because of his two-way ability. He's already one of, if not the best defenders on the team.
Yep.
And as we've seen, he can hit from the outside. He can get his own shot. He can create off the dribble, gets inside, with ease, and he can score 20 points. So I think he's my X factor.
I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to say De'Aaron Fox. And that's just because we've seen him struggle this season so far. The Kings are still 5-4. But if De'Aaron Fox is putting up 27 points like he did last year, every single game this season, Kings would be 7-0. So
yeah,
he's my X factor. And it's weird that the best player is the X factor, but
that's kind of what I meant by, like, how do you perceive how do you interpret the question?
Yeah. So he's still my X factor at this point. Do we got any more beers?
Yeah, we do.
I'm going through this beer so fast. I love a victory. King's victory, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, grab a beer. We'll be right back.
I just bought a new whip. Spend a couple thousand just to cruise it. Shawty said she love me, but I swear she'll never prove it. I never tell her, but I put it in the music. Well, that's okay. All I wanna do is make the best of my whole day. Thank the Lord up above, get the cream on the side, make you laugh to no end. That's the stuff that I love, la da da da.
All right, we're back. We're
Sorry,
having
Cole.
a good time.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yeah. Enjoy responsibly. It's not every night the Kings win by 30, so we are enjoying a little bit extra. Who knows? We might even have a shot of Crown Royal if we can get up to 40 likes. You guys hear that? 40 likes. We're taking shots. All right, welcome back, everybody. Or welcome back, Calvin, since you just went and grabbed the beers. Welcome back to Royal Rebounds TV and another Royal Rebounds podcast live with Calvin and Barry. We're drinking Modelo. We're having a good time. The Kings won another one tonight, 140-110. Huge game for the Kings. They were hitting threes all over. Rain was not on the schedule, but it poured in Sacramento tonight. Yes. 22 threes. They set a franchise record. They also tied the NBA single game record this year for 140 points. Huge game. If you guys watched the Royal Report earlier this morning, and if you have not, make sure you guys check it out. Every Friday, we release an ESPN-style show called the Royal Report, where we talk just about your Sacramento Kings, and we have a good time doing it. We had a special guest. If you guys have been watching the channel for a while, you might know King Stradamus already. If you have not, go ahead and watch that episode. You'll be in for a big surprise. King Stradamus was on the show. He is our Sacramento Kings prophet. He predicted a win tonight, and he predicted 3 Kings players scoring over 20 points a game, which he was correct on.
He was. He was a little off on the score.
Yeah, that's okay.
He did predict a double-digit win. So
Buddy Hield, 26 points off the bench, 23 for Rashawn Holmes, 23 and 20 for him, which set a career high in rebounds at 20, and 21 points for De'Aaron Fox. It was another Kings victory. They're 5-4. Also, if you guys watch the show, I predicted the Kings to go 4-0 this week. And so far,
one down.
I'm looking pretty good. They play the Pacers on Sunday, the Suns on Monday, and the Spurs on Wednesday. I'm feeling pretty good. We got the next 2 games at home. Rashawn Holmes is looking good. De'Aaron Fox is looking good. Tyrese Haliburton's looking good. I knew it was only a matter of fact.
Everyone looked good.
Yeah, I knew it was only a matter of fact. Yeah. You and I talked about it before, that the Kings were in every single game this year. I think the Warriors game was probably the one that I was most deflated watching, but the Kings were pretty much in every single game this year, and the team didn't play well together. We didn't have nights where 3-4 guys were all playing well. It was maybe 1 guy, 2 guys. We finally saw that tonight. They played against the league's worst defense, allowing 117 points a game, and it showed.
Yes.
But just happy to celebrate another Kings win. How are you feeling, Cal?
Feeling good. I mean, that was a great game to watch. You didn't have to watch the whole thing if you didn't want to. You knew kind of what was going to happen. Yeah, you said it. They had a really complete game. I think this is 2 actually complete games in a row that they've played. That win the other night against New Orleans was a good start to finish game. They led pretty much the entire way, except for early on in the first quarter, basically. Mm-hmm. And everybody played well in that game too. So this is good. You know, like Rico Hines always says, you got to stack days. These are games, stacked days on top of each other now, and it's good for them to build off of.
Yeah, and you look at the losses, 4 losses, 2 losses to the Jazz, 1 to the Warriors, 1 to the Mavericks. These teams have the best record in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
All 3 of these teams, 7-1, 7-1, 5-3. So the Kings definitely played some stiff competition, and they were pretty much in every single one of these games.
They were, especially the Utah games.
Yes, both Utah games they were in, and that was the games that we talked about was the hardest for the Kings because their small ball lineup doesn't match up well against the Jazz, and their 3-point defense doesn't match up well against the Jazz either.
But they are so much better on a 3-point defense.
Yes, and that brings up another point that I wanted to make. I heard Katie say in this or during the game, the Kings are 10th in the NBA in field goal percentage allowed this year. 10th. That's incredible.
Yeah, that means you're contesting shots.
They were last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a huge improvement.
So top third of the league. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago on the Royal Report when we talked about defense and where we'd like to see them. It's interesting. You look at Luke Walton's coaching career. Everybody knows how well he did with the Warriors. And he goes on to play with the Lakers, coach the Lakers. They did horrible the first year.
Mm-hmm.
You get LeBron James. I was very, very critical of him. If you can't win with LeBron James, you can't win with anybody in this league. But to give it to Coach Walton, LeBron missed a ton of that season with injury. But if you look at every single team that he's been with, every year they improve on the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah.
And we all talk about defense like it's something like it's easy to improve on, and it really is not. It's one of the toughest things. They went to India one year for preseason or for training camp. Then they had COVID. This was his first full year with no interruptions. Kings are looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of this show, this was a game where if you were watching, you can really see how the Kings have improved. They're so much better than they were last year defensively.
Yep.
So much better. And a lot of that is because of Davion Mitchell, yes, but it really is a team effort. The closeouts are there. They were so bad at guarding the three last year. Like, it was just like watching Charlotte tonight.
Yep.
Wide open three after wide open three. You don't see that anymore from them. So
and the
it's
players
really
are almost the same, which is crazy.
Yeah, a lot of the same guys.
What up, Trey? Welcome to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We talk about the Kings. We drink beer. We have good times. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but I used to work at a brewery, and Calvin and I brew beer for fun. Last year, we did the Jester Juice. It was a New England-style IPA. We got a video for that. Check it on the channel. It's way back, so you got to go back to see it. Right now, we have an Oktoberfest, which is a little late, but it'll be done in 2 weeks. We'll definitely show it to you guys on the show. We love beer. We love brewing beer. We love talking about the Kings. All right, baby. Oh, yeah. I think we need to win at least 2 of the next 3. I know need might sound like a strong word, but we need to give ourselves some cushion to stay above 500, if that makes sense. Kenny Thomas said the next game is a must-win.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. We talked about it on the Royal Report. These next 2 weeks, they got these, including tonight, the next 3 games at home, and then they go on a 4-game road trip, but that road trip is a really winnable road trip. All 4 games are games that the Kings have either a really good chance in or should win. So this next stretch is huge for them. They could be, 4 or 5 games above, 6 games even above 500 if they play like they've been playing the last couple of nights.
Ryan wants to know your king of the game.
Today?
Yep.
Rashawn Holmes.
Can you explain why?
Well, I'll just say what I said to finish the last time. First Sacramento Kings player in over 20 years. No, over 20 years.
Yeah, 94.
94, right?
Yep.
Over 20 years to have a 20-20 game and shoot 75% or more better from the field.
Career high in rebounds, 20. And you're right. Those putbacks were absolutely
the putbacks
awesome.
were amazing.
He was there every
everywhere.
time. And there was like 4 or 5 plays where I saw he just jumped a little bit early.
Mm-hmm.
And if he would have been a little bit later, he would have had another putback.
Yep.
Great play.
Only thing you didn't like from him tonight is he had 4 turnovers, which is really high for him. But
Yep. 209 Kings. Pruno. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get in trouble. I might have to make some. Cole, LeBron just tries to create super teams that don't pan out. Really? They don't pan out? How many rings does this guy have?
I think it's worked out okay for him so far.
Miami Heat, no rings, right? Cleveland, no rings. Lakers, no rings.
10 straight finals appearances.
Yeah, they definitely pan out for him. And you would love it if he was on the Sacramento Kings, because I know that I would for sure. Fred, Calvin and I both went to Davis High School. Calvin played on the basketball team. I had way too much fun doing other things. All right, so let's talk about the Pacers game. Sunday, it's at home. It's an early game. We saw what happened to them last Sunday. They lost. Another early game. Mm-hmm. But one thing to highlight, the Pacers are 0-5 on the road this year.
They are.
Kings hadn't won a game at home until these last 2. Yep. So I think that makes them, 2-2 at home this year? How are you feeling about this game?
This is another game the Kings should win. The Hornets, like we said, are dead last in points allowed per game. Indiana's 26th, I think, which is very close to the bottom. Not a lot of resistance from them. Like you said, I forget if it was on the Royal Report or our last podcast, Domantas Sabonis is a really key guy to watch.
Yep.
He is a dominant player, and he can beat you both outside and inside posting up. So Rashawn Holmes probably going to have a difficult assignment there. Although if I forget about Miles Turner, it's going to be interesting to see who the Kings have guarding Sabonis, because Harkless has enough length to keep up with him, but he's going to get pounded inside. Gives up a lot of weight.
I'm going to blow your mind real quick. The Pacers lost to the Trailblazers tonight.
Yes.
110-106. How many points do you think Dame Lillard had?
I'm going to guess low because you're going to blow my mind. I'll say 5 points.
4 points.
Ooh, very close.
You know me too well. 4 points for Dame Lillard tonight. And they beat him.
Yeah.
Y'all know we beat the Pacers. We beat the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
Dame Lillard didn't have a good game, but he had much more than 4 points. I think he ended with like 21.
I think he had 20.
20 points. Yeah. Didn't make a single three because I was joking about that.
Yep. Yeah, this is a very winnable game for the Kings, and they're playing well right now. One guy to watch for Indiana is their first-round draft pick, who has really shot up we were talking about Rookie of the Year earlier.
Yep.
Chris Duarte is killing guys right now. He's shooting lights out. He's a rookie guard from Oregon.
9 points
Another
for him.
older guy. I believe he played 4 years at Oregon, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. 9 points for him tonight.
Yeah. I think he's averaging like 16 a game, though, or something like that.
Damn,
so
he's already 24 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So he's another older guy, but really has found a nice role for himself in Indiana. The Kings are going to have to definitely have somebody in his shorts, as they like to say, all night long.
Yeah, I feel like we talk about Sabonis, we talk about Miles Turner. Great players, great big men.
Love Malcolm Brogdon.
You know, it's tough for the Kings playing against guys like that. But one of your favorite players, Caris LeVert.
Yes.
He's having a great season. 17 points a game this year. I think he's going to be the X factor in that game for them. I know on the Royal Report I talked about Sabonis. You got to make the others beat you. But that other could be Caris LeVert. So the Kings need to hone in on him.
That's going to be a good match. I assume it's going to be Harrison Barnes and Caris LeVert on each other for most of the night. That'll be a nice matchup to watch.
All right, let's talk about Davion Mitchell. Another great night for him coming off the bench. 25 minutes, 19 points, 4 for 5 from three-point range. No steals, no blocks. But his defense doesn't always show up on the scoreboard. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in this game, Charlotte was just missing shots. It wasn't really defense to start out. I mean, there were some steals. We saw a dunk like for the first 2 points of the game by Tyrese Haliburton. But Charlotte just flat out didn't shoot well in this game. They shot 31% from three-point range. So how are you feeling about Davion? Let me know what you think his impact was on this game. And then I also wanted to touch back on that question we answered in the Royal Report today on whether you feel like Davion Mitchell is a starter yet.
Man, that's a lot to cover. Well, first and foremost, his impact on the game was great tonight. It's always great, but when you add 19 points, you shoot as well as you do, shot better than 60% from the field, 4 of 5 from 3, and 3 of 3 at the free throw line, which is something that he's actually not that good at. He only shot, I think, 62% at the free throw line in college last year. So all great things. He had 1 turnover to 4 assists. The guy is absolutely a player in this league already. He's not a guy that has to continue to develop or learn the NBA game, get adjusted to the NBA speed. Mm-hmm. He's ready for all of that. Is he ready to be a starter? He could start on a lot of teams in the NBA. I think he really could. I think the situation that he's in right now is going to be better for him in the long run than being a starter.
Yeah, I think so too. And we talked about who would he replace in the starting lineup. Mo Harkless. Calvin and I had been a little critical of him earlier in the season. You know, we know he brings it on the defensive end of the floor, but we felt like there was some things missing offensively. He wasn't hitting shots. But you got to trust in the coaching staff. You got to trust in the front office. He turned it around, 10 big points tonight for him. I'm happy with what I've seen. And I really like the Davion Buddy Hield combo coming off the bench because I feel like those guys fit each other to a T. Everyone talked about how Buddy and Fox complemented each other, but Davion and Buddy are a great, great tandem.
They are, and they seem to really like playing with each other. We saw it tonight. I think each one of them assisted a three for the other one in the third quarter. And, you know, Buddy had the airplane going, and then Davion hit a three right after that, and they're high-fiving.
Yep.
You know, I think they have a good chemistry together.
Ivan wants to know your basketball coach at Davis High.
He is still the basketball coach, as far as I'm aware. Coach Dan Gonzalez, as we called him, Coach G.
He says Villanueva. Coach Villanueva?
Is now the coach?
I don't know. I've never heard of him.
I actually think I know who he's talking about, but my head coach was Coach G.
Cole's so funny. He's still on his LeBron James. Says since 2017, LeBron only has one championship. Yeah, that's great, dude.
It's a lot more than a lot of other people, too.
Lane, we're taking shots at 40 likes, not 30. So make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all Kings fans, hit that like button. Get to 40 likes. Calvin and I are taking a shot at Crown Royal. Also interested if any of you know why we have a bottle of Crown Royal here on the table. And yes, it has something to do with the Kings.
We actually answered it on a previous podcast. So if anybody is watching from that show, you should know the answer.
And it's kind of a trick question. It has something to do with the team. Brogdon's solid. Yep, he is a solid player. Yeah, Mitchell's shot looks so good tonight. That guy looks so comfortable. Calvin and I talked about how dude's 23 years old already as a rookie. That's pretty rare in the NBA.
It is.
Tyrese Haliburton's 21, and this is his second year in the league. So he's getting comfortable. He's older. He's got the body. He's ready to contribute right away. Ryan wants you to talk about Haliburton in his night.
Haliburton in his night, he had another great game. I mean, everybody had a great game. But, you know, I just really love what I see from Tyrese. I think his confidence is growing, and the team's confidence in him is growing. You mentioned it, that interview that De'Aaron Fox had where he brought Tyrese to the side and said, shoot the fucking ball. I think the team knows how good of a player he is and how good of a player he can become. And him having the ball in his hands, this is what I said when he got drafted, was both these guys, De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Haliburton, are better when they have the ball in their hands. Mm-hmm. Tyrese can play off the ball, and De'Aaron is doing a pretty good job of it right now, too. It's a big adjustment for him this far into his career when he's played with all these bad Sacramento Kings teams where he's had the ball in his hand. You know, his usage rate is out of control, like James Harden and all this stuff.
Yep.
And now he's sharing the ball so much with everybody. So it's a big adjustment, but Tyrese in the pick and roll with Rashawn Holmes, that's their best half-court offense that they have. Tonight, the offense was great because there was no resistance. They were getting in the lane.
Yep.
All four guys on the outside are open from three, so hit any one of them. Shots were going down, so of course they looked good.
14 points tonight, 5 assists, only 1 turnover.
Yeah.
Shot great. 2 for 3
really
from
good.
3-point and 6 for 8 from the field, which is easy when you're getting dunks down the lane. I saw a couple dunks for him. Only 1 steal tonight. Not another 4 steal, 2 block game, but that's okay. Yeah. The Kings were playing ahead the entire game. Lane, don't call anybody a liar, man. Hit that rewind button. You'll see I said 40. Ivan says, I dated myself, taught at Davis High. in the late 90s. Coach Villanueva was around then. I think I know who Villanueva is. I think he became the PE teacher. Didn't he become a PE teacher?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure he was.
I guess it's been a while for me too.
PE or baseball or something. I don't know.
No, Areola was the coach for baseball.
Oh yeah, Areola. Great name. Great name. Ryan, you are correct. The original Royals, the Rochester Royals, their first sponsor was Crown Royal. That is why they were named the Royals. They moved a bunch of times in Kansas City. The baseball team moved there, so they changed their name to the Kings and eventually ended up in Sacramento. So that is why we have that. 12 more likes. We're doing a shot, Cal. Victor says, I think Davion and Buddy play well together just because Davion is always playing defense so hard, which forces Buddy to match his energy and then gets rewarded more shots.
Yeah, I think
100%.
that's a totally fair assessment.
100%.
I think you can say that for the whole team, not just Buddy, in terms of how playing hard defense all the time, is contagious and has a trickle-down effect.
Afghan says, that's my biggest nitpick when it comes to Tyrese. When he's open, he needs to stop thinking about dishing and shoot a lot more. Yeah. And, they sat down, him and Fox told him, it's a funny interview. You should look it up. He told him to shoot the fucking ball. It's pretty great. And he's been doing that.
He has been.
6 for 8 tonight. I'm happy with that efficiency. I'm okay with him shooting a little more than that, but.
Well, but on a night like tonight where nobody can miss,
yep,
he is always, when the whole team is hot from the field, he's going to have the fewest field goal attempts because he knows that, and he's just going to constantly be finding other guys open to shoot. But we've seen when they've struggled scoring, he's been a lot more aggressive in that pick and roll, that 15 to 20 foot jump shot, 2-point jump shot, the floater. He'll take more shots when he feels like they're maybe struggling a little bit more on offense. And I love that about him.
Definitely. Ryan, he must have seen the last one. He wants to talk about the horrible new City jerseys.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm on board, man. Come on.
Calvin hates the Sacktown.
Yeah, we get rid of the Sacktown. Get rid of it. It can say Sacramento. When C-Webb and all the Kings teams of old, they had Sacramento all the way across. Did you like
so
those?
long. I do like it.
Yeah,
it's just really long.
good.
I get why they're trying to abbreviate. What about like Mento?
No, that's worse than
you
Sacktown.
hate Sack.
That's worse than Sacktown. Mento? Sounds like Mentos, like
the fresh maker.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys look at any websites like Sacramento Kings forums and stuff like that, but there is one called Sacktown Royalty. They did a poll from Kings fans about the new City Edition jerseys. 100% of the people answered the poll like the jerseys.
So how many people were we talking?
It didn't say, but it said 100%. And they did, at the same time, they did another poll of, are you worried about De'Aaron Fox? 51% of fans said yes, they were worried about De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, so that tells me all I need to know about those polls. But no, this year's City Edition, this year's City Edition jerseys are much better, in my opinion, than last year's.
Yes.
I like the color scheme better.
Yeah.
I like the Kings, the font it's in, everything.
Yeah.
Just take the Sacktown off there, and it's awesome.
Lane wants old Sacktown.
That's worse. That's worse.
What do you guys think?
And it is.
What do you guys think? You like Kings on the front? You like Sacramento? You got to alternate. You can't have all the jerseys say Kings. So let us know what you guys feel. Sacramento, Sacktown, the city, or what about Capital City?
Capital City. That's interesting.
I like Capital City. It's better than Cream City.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Some messages are held for review. On a night like tonight, You're 100% correct. However, when we aren't shooting anywhere near 55% from the field, shoot the fucking ball, like De'Aaron says.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, I think, what I said, right?
Ryan likes Capital City.
I think we're on to something with the Capital City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to make a Capital City Royal Rebounds jersey.
I think we might have to.
We'll put it in the store. If you guys want to get any gear from our store, you can go to royalrebounds.com. Check it out. Calvin usually is wearing the gear. I think he got one under the jersey, but you don't need to show it. It's okay. Y'all go there, check it out. It's awesome. Also, we have a Twitter account. You want to pump the Twitter?
Yeah, we're on Twitter at Royal_Rebounds. Follow us on Twitter. I've definitely tried to start being more active on there. I always post, if you love watching our podcasts, I always post a link to our podcast and to give you kind of a 10-minute heads up as to when we're going live on Twitter. So that's a great way to find us there. And, you know, I'm always there to answer anybody's tweets that they would like. I can't believe I just said that sentence. That's one of the last things I thought I would ever hear myself say.
He's got his notifications on. So if you want to bother Calvin, just blow up the Twitter at Royal Rebounds at.
Okay, yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, we're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. Calvin, was there anything else that you wanted to say about this game?
I think we've, you know, pretty much said everything that we can say. You know, at the end of the day, this is a great win. All the Kings that got in the game tonight, with the exception of the guys who really didn't play that much, like Metu and Davion Jones, 5 minutes combined between the two of them. But all the guys that played meaningful minutes, they really played well. This is another good game to build off of. Chance for them to get 3 in a row in a winnable game against Indiana coming up. These are the steps, you know, they might be baby steps at first, but they add up to a team getting better, becoming a playoff contending team. Mm-hmm. You got to get these wins.
How about City of Kings? You like that on the jerseys?
I like that too.
That's funny. Victor, you're crazy, man. You guys heard about Darren Williams' potential boxing bout?
Darren Williams, the former basketball player for the Nets?
The guy that everyone thought was better than Chris Paul, and then all of a sudden...
I mean, he was a really good player.
He wasn't better than Chris Paul.
I'm not saying that, but he was a really good player. He was an all-star.
He was. So was Ben Simmons.
He was an all-star that could score.
It might not be as aesthetically pleasing, but we could wear lime green jerseys with pink trim.
Who is this, Lane?
As long as we're winning, that's what matters the most to me.
Yes, I agree with that statement. Sorry, I thought that was Lane because he's a Seahawks fan, and he loves the lime green jerseys.
It's not Lane. It's Afghan, baby. Oh, yeah. That's funny. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. We will catch you all post-game after the Kings' victory on Sunday. That's right. I'm calling it. Another victory over the Indiana Pacers. They are going to be 0-6 on the road, and your Sacramento Kings are going to go 6-4. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Drink responsibly. And Lane, I said 40 likes. Thanks, guys.